In Meditations, Book 2, 5, Marcus Aurelius invites us to look within ourselves, reminding us of what truly matters. He says, "In the pursuit of virtue, I strive to be dignified, kind, free, and just. I recognize that these values are essential for my inner tranquility and for the well-being of the human community. By cultivating these qualities, I follow the path of Stoic wisdom, transcending external limitations and shaping my character according to reason and virtue." These words were not written to impress. Marcus Aurelius did not write for the public, but for himself. Meditations was like a personal journal, an exercise in self-knowledge and discipline. And that is precisely why his words still resonate so strongly today. Because they are real reminders, born out of the daily struggle of a man who sought to live with virtue while carrying enormous responsibilities. He presents us with 4 pillars that sustain the soul: dignity, kindness, freedom, and justice. Dignity is not about appearance or social status. For the Stoics, dignity is integrity, living in harmony with what is just and rational, even when no one is watching. How many times in our lives are we tempted to act against our principles just to please others or to gain an advantage? Dignity calls us to the opposite, to remain faithful to what is right, even when it costs more. Marcus Aurelius, even surrounded by power and flattery, reminded himself not to let the opinions of others corrupt his soul. For him, true dignity was an inner fortress that does not bend to external pressures. Kindness, often misunderstood as weakness, was for the Stoics a sign of strength. Anyone can react with anger or indifference, but it takes courage to choose generosity when provoked, or to respond calmly when the world offers hostility. In our daily lives, we see this clearly. Someone treats us rudely, someone tries to take advantage, someone judges us without knowing our story. The immediate reaction is to respond in the same way. But kindness invites us to act not from the worst in others, but from the best within ourselves. The word freedom takes on a new meaning in Stoicism. It is not just about being without chains or restrictions, but not being a slave to one's self. Many appear free, but live imprisoned by fear, by the constant need for approval, by the endless pursuit of fleeting pleasures. For the Stoics, true freedom is born from mastery of the mind. It is the ability to choose not to be carried away by impulses, not to be a prisoner of uncontrolled desires, not to be consumed by anxiety. Even in adverse circumstances, a person can be free if they govern their thoughts and actions. Finally, Marcus Aurelius speaks of justice. He knew that we do not live in isolation. We are part of one great human community. To be just is to recognize this connection and to act not only for our own benefit, but for the common good. To be just is to be honest even when no one notices. It is to think about the consequences of our choices, not only for ourselves, but for all who live around us. It is to understand that every action, no matter how small, leaves a mark in the world. The sum of these 4 pillars leads us to what Marcus Aurelius calls inner tranquility. This peace does not come from a life without problems, but from harmony between what we think, say, and do. When we live in coherence with reason and virtue, we find serenity that nothing external can take away. And this is the deepest point of Stoicism. We cannot control the world,
but we can control ourselves. We cannot avoid every pain, but we can choose how to respond to it. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, disease, and personal losses, yet his serenity was not rooted in circumstances, but in the character he cultivated every day. And what about us? How can we apply this today? In traffic, when anger arises, we can remember dignity and kindness. At work, in the midst of competition and the search for recognition, we can cultivate inner freedom, not depending on outside approval to have worth. At home, in our relationships, we can choose justice, remembering that the well-being of the other is also our responsibility. Everyday life is full of opportunities to practice Stoicism, and each practice makes us stronger. Therefore, Marcus Aurelius's reflection is a practical invitation to live each day as an exercise of virtue. In every word, in every choice, in every action, we can be dignified, kind, free, and just. By doing so, we not only take care of ourselves, but also strengthen the community around us. In this way, we find true tranquility, the peace that does not depend on external circumstances, but is born from the character we build. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the greatest conquest is not to rule the world, but to rule oneself. And that is a victory within reach of us all. If this reflection spoke to you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel to receive daily messages inspired by Stoic wisdom. Leave your like to support this project, and share in the comments which part of this reflection touched you the most. Your participation helps strengthen this community of people seeking to live with more balance and virtue.